right? So what I was discussing is RTI, transparency. For that transparency, I have discussed what is definition of transparency, what are the advantages of transparency. Next is about RTI Act 2005. Look at the recent changes, how they have diluted the RTI Act. Recently, they have diluted the Act provisions. Go and see that. And then in this RTI Act, what are the basic features of RTI Act? That is the first thing. The second thing that we have discussed is what are the exemptions, and then what are the challenges in implementing RTI, right? And in this, how you can promote transparency. We have discussed all these things, right? And then to get some factual data, I asked you to go and search in Google and type the Hindu, right? Information Act, the Hindu, and you will get some articles. Go with some 3 or 4 articles, read that, you'll get a basic information, and then give some data and some case studies where you have where this RTI has performed beautifully, right? So these are the things under RTI Act. So again, we have discussed as a subset of this Official Secrets Act. This is causing some disturbance with RTI. So second ARC says that remove this or repeal this Official Secrets Act. So that is what the thing is. This is what RTI or the transparency is. They don't ask much about RTI because this is GS paper 2 subject. In ethics, they don't ask particularly. They will ask some case studies related to it and how you can solve the ethical dilemma. How of ethical dilemma. What is ethical dilemma in RTI Act? That is the misuse of RTI, right? So whenever they are misusing it, how you can overcome that problem? You can overcome that problem by taking a stand on transparency. In 99% of the cases, in only 1% of the cases, go with privacy. That too, if it is of public importance or if it is of public interest, don't reveal the information. Otherwise, go and take a firm stand on being transparency. So this is how they will ask the questions. Let us look at the previous year questions and the information that you can get from previous year questions on RTI. Sharing, transparency, information sharing and transparency in government, Right Information Act. Look at this. And the Citizens Charter, okay? You can write all these things under one point. What are the things that is available? Today we find that in spite of various measures, prescribing code of conduct, setting up vigilance commissioners, RTI Act, active media, strengthening of legal mechanisms, corrupt practices are not coming under practice. Now, when you are writing corruption, what are the techniques to control corruption, right? These are the techniques such as ensuring code of conduct, set up CVC cells, right? Set up RTI, active media, strengthening of local mechanisms, right? You can write on these lines. And you can also say that these are the tools that are available to increase the transparency or to increase the accountability. So you can link the syllabus again here. Now look at the previous year questions. Write information. No need to study much. In the previous questions, information is more than enough. What is one obstacle for RTI? Official Secrets Act is an obstacle for the implementation of RTI. So this is one contrary. RTI Act 2005 envisages transparency and accountability in administration. Right? You can use the same sentence. Transparency and accountability in administration. That has functioned as a check on the supposedly arbitrary administrative behaviors and actions. Very important. Positive of RTI. RTI activism has affected the functioning of, this is the negative aspect of RTI, affected the functioning of administration negatively, right? And also it is jeopardizing the genuineness of the applications. People are misusing it. Again, this is one negative, this is second negative, this is one positive, right? This is another negative that you have. Next one is the Right to Information Act is not all about citizens' empowerment alone. It is essentially redefining the concept of accountability. right? Here the point is right information is directly contributing to citizens empowerment. So this is one positive. Along with that, it is increasing the accountability. So if they are asking you what are the advantages, write all these advantages that I have said. What are the negatives? Again, you have said the negative. Look at this case study. Some recent developments such as introduction of the RTA Act, media and judicial activism. I said RTA Act, media and judicialism. Remember all the 4 C's, right? All these are playing a crucial role in improving the transparency, right? Whenever you are thinking about transparency, think about these institutional frameworks. They are proving helpful in bringing about greater transparency. That is one advantage, and accountability in the functioning of government. Again, this is one advantage. However, there are some negatives. It is being observed that at times this mechanism is being misused, right? What are those misuse? Another, what is misuse? You have seen misuse, genuineness of the applications are lost. RTA activism is going to be used for some selfish gains. However, another negative effect is that the officials are now afraid to take prompt decisions. Now, this is another ill impact of RTA Act. Another negative effect is that they are afraid to take good decisions or prompt decisions. Analyze the situation in detail and how can you resolve the dichotomy? That is, how can you overcome this ethical dilemma or this dualness? I said go for transparency. In my maximum cases, make transparency as a norm. Then you can solve these type of problems. Suggest how these negative impacts can be minimized. So in the previous year questions itself, my point is you have what are the challenges for RTA, you have what are the advantages of RTA. So you can use the same data to go and construct an answer for good governance or any concepts that we are discussing. So again, what I wanted to reiterate is I wanted to just tell that don't divert, don't keep many books to study. Keep the resources minimum, very minimum as possible. But keep your brain functioning at the maximum level. Resources has to be minimum and then brain functioning has to be maximum. So you think on all the dimensions, and if you are studying in this way, reorient the syllabus. You can connect one part of the syllabus with other parts that I have been discussing right from day one. So you reorient and then you study in these manners. So you can use the same information. If you have 10 sentences or 20 sentences, you should be in a position to reuse them again and again. That should be the way of studying, not many books. People are still calling and asking, sir, whether I should prepare notes for this. Why to prepare notes? Already everything is provided, right? Every topic I have discussed. Why to prepare notes and waste your time? Keep that time on some other aspects where you can get more return. So this is the thing. Information sharing, transparency in government, right to information, RTA. Now we will discuss the last component, that is called Citizens Charter. Now I said Citizens Charter is another way to improve the so-called transparency, which is directly linked with good governance, right? So I'll be discussing what is the Citizens Charter for a while. Again, the concepts will be same. Just remember, as it has been directly given in the syllabus, you should know what is the definition of Citizens Charter. Look at the definition. It is a set of commitments which are made by the government department towards the citizens with respect to delivery of services. One second. It is a set of commitments which are made by the government departments towards the citizens with respect to delivery of services that are made to be made by them to the citizens. So by heart this at any cost. It 20 sentences by heart this, that will be helpful for us when we are writing quickly, right? It is a set of commitments which are made by the government departments towards the citizens with respect to delivery of services, right? You can write that. Now, why Citizens Charter is needed? See, why Citizens Charter is needed? Again, the same story, right? There is a lot of information asymmetry, right? With respect to service delivery. That is where the service is provided, who will provide it, at what place provided, how much time it will take, right? So this is one best thing see, whenever you are entering into public office, you will not be knowing. The first thing which strikes is who is the fellow whom I should go and talk to resolve my case or to resolve my dispute or to resolve my problem, right? Who is the first person? How much time they will take? What is the procedure? No one knows this. Hence, there should be the moment you enter into government office, the first thing that you should see is a board where on that board all this information is provided. What should be the information? What is this department? What are the functions done by this department? Whom you should contact for a particular thing, and how much time it takes for doing that thing. And then it should give information about the grievances also. If your problem is not solved, then how your grievances should be met. If someone is asking bribes, then whom you have to go and meet. So if they are providing all these 5 things, what this department is all about, what are the functions provided by this government, for which function whom to meet, and then how much time they will take to provide this information, and then what if the information is not provided. So if all these 5 things are being followed, remember these 5 things, this should be on citizens charter, because the moment we enter into government office, if these 5 things are known on the board, then we'll come to know, okay, this is the organization and these are the things that they are providing, right? Hence, citizens charter should contain these 5 basic principles, because there is lot of information asymmetry and people are unaware of the government offices and unaware of whom to meet and where to meet, right? So they have to be providing all these 5 things. Remember these 5 things. This is called citizens charter. Just remember, whenever you are entering into government office, the first thing is you should know what this government office is all about, what services they are providing. Third thing is which information or which officer is providing which service. Then you'll be going to that officer. How much time will the officer generally take to resolve or to give that information? What if some grievances are there? That is, if the fellow has not given, if he is not giving the information, or if he is asking some bribes, then you have to go and complain to some grievance redressal mechanism, right? There should be some grievance redressal mechanism. So all these 5 things should be immediately on the front, room, the moment you enter into the so-called government office. So these are the things that should government citizens charter should contain. Know what is the definition and why citizens charter is required, because these things people doesn't know. Look at this. Remember citizens charter definition, and then why it is required, because people doesn't know these things. Information asymmetry is there on all these things. Hence provide this information. Once this is provided, then there will be, what are the positives? Again, these are the positives. People will come to know about each and everything. People will take part in governance, right? Then information is going to be shared very easily. Again, you can write on these lines. What are the objectives of citizens charter? Fixing responsibility or accountability on government officials. It puts a moral obligation on the government department. First, it is fixing the responsibility on officers and obligation on the government department to perform effectively. It ensures transparency. It is speeding up the service delivery. I'll come to the question. Ensures transparency in functioning of departments. See, this is all the same thing again. There is a bigger connection, right? Citizens charter is for transparency. Transparency is for accountability. Accountability is for good governance. Good governance makes the institutions to sustain forever, right? These are the relations. Speeding up the delivery of services, good governance. Next, bridges the trust deficit, right? Whenever there is information, trust deficit will be reduced. Corruption will be reduced. People will come to know what information is provided. Hence, they will take part in government offices, right? And then governance becomes citizen-centric or public participation. Then democracy is turning out to be truly democratic, rather than people being mere recipients of government services. They become the active participants in governance, right? You have to write like that. People will become, they shift from being just and mere recipients to being active participants. Providing choices to citizen, middleman role gets reduced, reducing confusion instead of running here and there. Everything is the same thing that they have written, right? Keep public office more habituated with government department. Public will be more habituated with government department, and when citizens feel comfortable, they approach the government, everything. Again, I think these persons, they have written just to increase the number of points, but the points are these things that I have discussed, right? And if you want to write even 20 points, you can write the same thing in your English. Okay. 6 principles or 8 principles of Citizens Charter. Remember this. What are the basic principles in Citizens Charter? Quality of service, choice to citizens, right? Standards, values of taxpayers' money, accountability, transparency, be open. All these are the principles of Citizens Charter. Again, they are going to fulfill the same thing. Significance of Citizens Charter, I don't know why they have written again and again, right? Objectives of Citizens Charter is again significance of Citizens Charter, right? It engages civil society, corporate societies, ethical standards are improved, government is more responsive. Leave all this again the same points. Citizens Charter in India. See, in India, how Citizens Charter is present. Actually, Citizens Charter is a concept of UK, United Kingdoms, right? In India, what is the framework or what is the status? Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances prescribed that good Citizens Charter should have the following components. What makes a Citizens Charter very good? It should give what is the vision and mission of this organization, right? What is the vision of this organization? What is the mission of this organization? It should give the details of the business. Again, the same thing, what functions, which functions are done. Next, standards and quality of time frame to be provided, how and where the services are provided. Just remember those 5 points that I said. Details of grievance redressal. Next, expectations of citizens, what they can expect, from where they can expect. Again, just those 5 points. If you include those 5 points, that is going to be the department of, they are the recommendations of Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances. Just remember these 5 points. You can write again the same things here. Citizens' expectations. What do citizens expect from government? They expect some trust. People want trust on the government. How you can believe that trust or build up that trust? Reliability, by giving timely service, by giving customer interest or customer service, empathy or attention towards the citizens, right? What are the issues with, what are the issues with Citizens Charter? Citizens Charter is not made as a act, or it is not legally binding on the government. That is the first drawback or first issue of Citizens Charter. There is no legal act which says that it is compulsory in every government office. This is just a norm that they say, but they have not made any act. So first thing, it doesn't have any act. So that is the biggest drawback of Citizens Charter in India. Now, other drawbacks are, even though those government offices which they provide, the board will not be on the front room. They place somewhere in the back door or in some garden which is available, right? In some storeroom they will provide. So it will not be visible to the people, right? Leave about Citizens Charter, even though it is present, it will not visible to the people. Placement of Citizens Charter, that is where they have fixed that board, right? Non-formulation of Citizens Charter is most of the government departments. Why they have not formulated? Because there is no stead and fast rule saying that you have to have. There is no rule or there is no act for the government departments to definitely have Citizens Charter. And language is very complicated. Even though if it is Telugu, right, they use some grammatical language, right? Again, it is going to become very difficult. Now, if they are giving in English, again, hi-fi language, just like how we write English answers, right? So it should be like a general language where people should understand, right? But language is very complicated and our people are obviously very poor in reading and writing. Hence, they are very poor in comprehension. That is the reason why CSAT is there. Comprehension skills are there in paper 2, obviously. And this is too lengthy, right? Even before getting the work done, in order to read that, it takes time. Before that also, you can go and get the work done. So it is too lengthy. Next, no consultation while drafting the Citizens Charter. Whom you have to consult while you are drafting this? you have to consult the public and then you have to draft it. First, you should ask why this person is coming, what are the difficulties that he is facing, right? Like Zomato and Amazon, they will ask the ratings. Do you face any difficulty, right? There should be some approach like that. Then it has to speak with the public, and then after speaking to the public, they will come to know, okay, these are the issues that the public is facing, and then they can go and fix the board. Rather than that, what is common thing in India is they are not approaching the layman, or they are not approaching the grassroots level, but they are deciding the citizens charter at the top of the administration. Rather than that citizens charter coming from down to top, it is coming from top to down. So top to down approach is causing this problem, right? It is done by the top officials, lower staff is not involved, right? Even the staff gets shocked when they come to read this citizen charter. Okay, this government is providing, or my department is providing these many services. I have been working in this for more than 25 years or 30 years. I don't know. They will get shocked, right? Because that is done by officers. Next one is officers, lower officers doesn't know about that. Leave about citizens and civil society. They will never be aware of that. They do service delivery by force, not by willingly. Yes, this is a common thing. Whenever a customer goes into public office, right, public banks, they think that they are there just to enjoy under the ACs. But the thing is, they feel that we work for force, we study for force, not willingly, right? That is another problem. So these are the problems. The first problem is it is not made an act. There is no strict regulation that it has to be present. The second problem is, as there is no act, many departments have not enacted or not constituted the citizens charter. Even when it was constituted, they prepared citizens charter in a language which is not easily understandable to the common man, and they prepared this citizens charter without involving the people from bottom to top. Rather, it is made by the top people and then it comes to the bottom. Fifth thing is, even after doing this citizen charter, they place the board somewhere in some storeroom which is not visible to the public. And anyways, people do not have the information. They do not have awareness about this, right? People do not have information, resistive to change, lack of review. And one more thing is, yes, citizen charter, they prepare and they keep it for years and years. Even the government officers are changing, but citizen charter, they will make it at one time, just like the Indian pledge that we used to do when we were in our school days, right? And they used to keep that as national anthem, and they used to keep that forever. They don't change with the changing trends. Even the government functioning is changed, but they don't change that board. So there is lack of review in it. This is one biggest challenge in citizens charter. Again, it is not in the vernacular language. No details of public grievance officers. They are not legally enforceable because there is no act. Hence, this is not legally enforceable. So these are the biggest issues of citizens charter in India. Next, what are the reforms in citizens charter and second ARC suggested by second ARC? Second ARC has clearly stated that these are the things that you have to have in mind while you are framing this citizens charter. What is this? Don't go with one size fit for all approach. Citizens charter should be tailored from department to department, from organization to organization. Do not go that for Ministry of Finance, everything will be one. No, even inside your Ministry of Finance, there are various departments. Go for that department and prepare a citizens charter which is fit for that organization rather than one size fits approach. Try to make wider consultation, right? We discussed this. Commitments made in citizens charter is quantifiable and objective rather than leaving vague. What does this mean? It should not be like lofty. Objectives must be lofty, but it should not be like imaginary things that I will do this within 1 day or 2 days, just like before prelims will set. It should not be like that. It should be quantifiable and it should be objective. Next, there should be redressal mechanism in case of default, obviously. Periodic evaluation should be there because governance is a very dynamic thing. Hence, it has to change periodically. Next, hold the officers accountable if they are not keeping this RT, citizens charter, include all civil societies in the process, right? So this is called citizens charter. So what I discussed in citizens charter is definition of citizens charter. What are the 5 components that should be there in the citizens charter? What are the challenges of citizens charter? How to improve citizens charter? And what are the second ARC recommendations of citizens charter, right? And what are the positives of citizens charter? These are the things under citizens charter. If you are having a basic idea, you can write a decent answer on these lines. And then SEVOTTAM model is a model which is available for efficient quality of service delivery. If you want to efficiently develop service, there is quality of service delivery in the syllabus, right? See, citizens charter, work culture, I discussed quality of service delivery. Look at this quality of service delivery. We already discussed this quality of service delivery when I was discussing about how the government was formed, how the governance is there, how to improve that quality delivery. How you can deliver is you can use the SEVOTTAM model. It has been developed with an objective of improving the quality of service delivery. Very important, SEVOTTAM model for improving the quality of service delivery. It is again recommended by the second ARC in its 12th report called Citizen-Centric Administration. Right? No need to have that common components. Just remember that it is prepared by second ARC, SEVOTTAM model. Now, what are the 3 components of SEVOTTAM model? The 3 components are citizens charter. Second one is public grievance redressal mechanism, and then service delivery capability. If you are integrating all these things, that is citizens charter. Again, in the citizens charter, if someone is not doing that duty, give them proper grievance redressal. Once this is done, quality of service delivery is going to improve. Once this goes in tandem or together, then you are going to get some good service delivery. That is called SEVOTTAM. You are going to serve at the utmost level, right? This model provides 7 steps. SEVOTTAM model has 7 steps. What is it? First, to define what is service and which service is provided and who are the clients clearly. Next, set standards for each service, right? Which service you are providing? Is it Manarega service, or you are providing some Anganwadi service, or you are providing some other service, right? Pension dispersal. Okay, whatever the service that you are giving, first to define that service and identify the clients who are involved in this. Once you define it, then you can have standards, set standards. Okay, in this service, I have to reach to this person. Say, for example, if it is Anganwadi, then it has to clearly say that I have to enroll these many young children or early childhood care. I have to focus on early childhood care up to this extent. I have to focus on the pregnant women in this locality. So set standard. This is the standard. Then develop capacity to meet that standards. Setting standards is completely good, but you should have some infrastructure, like, set a standard saying that no woman in my constituency or in my Anganwadi constituency should die because of pregnancy. There should not be any maternal deaths. If you are keeping that as a target, if you want to achieve that target, your infrastructure or your capacity should be to that extent only, right? So once you have set that target, develop that capacity to meet the targets. Once you have infrastructure, once you have that capacity, the only thing that requires is performance, right? Perform to achieve that standards. Once you are performing, just monitor whether that performance is in the correct direction or not. And then after monitoring it, evaluate how far you have reached your points or how far you reached your objectives, and then go with continuous monitoring, periodic monitoring. Then it is going to work. So these are the things in which you can deliver a service with under SEVOTTAM model. Very easy to remember again. First, to define what is service and who are the clients. Set the standards for each service. The third one is, once you set the standards, enhance the capacity. Once you enhance the capacity, perform. Once you are performing, evaluate. Once you are monitor that performance, then evaluate, and evaluation should be on continuous basis. then governance is going to be SEVOTTAM, right? SEVOTTAM untundi. The rest of the things, code of ethics, code of conduct, we have already discussed. So this is the syllabus that I wanted to discuss. So more or less, we are done with almost all the topics. What is this best service, Ravali? Can you type it? What is that best service? Now, see, one topic that I have left, that is called lessons from the lives and teachings of great leaders, reformers, and administrators, and contribution of moral thinkers, philosophers from India and the world. Now, what I wanted to discuss from this topic is, look at the previous year questions, how they are asking the questions. They are not asking about, except one or two times, they are not asking about great leaders, or they are not asking about a person. If they ask a person, it is very difficult because there will be 50 to 60 persons. You cannot remember about each and every person. By chance, if the person is known to us, we'll write the answer. Otherwise, say for example, if they are asking about T N Session, what will you do if you don't know anything? If they ask about Moksha Gundam Vishweshwaraya, what will you do if you don't know about him? Right? It is very difficult to judge what they are going to ask. Rather than that, one thing that you can do is just look at the previous year questions, and they have given some quotations, right? Who has given what quotation? So under these two sections, they are asking contributions of moral thinkers of India and the world and teachings of great leaders. What they are asking is not about the personalities. If they ask the personalities, it is very difficult to judge the personality or to guess the personality. Rather than that, how you can be prepared for this is just go to the personalities on whom they have asked the questions, like Socrates, M.K. Gandhi, Abdul Kalam, Napoleon Bonaparte, right? Swami Vivekananda, Abraham Lincoln, Tirukulul, right? Savitri Bapule, Aristotle, and then you have one more thing, that is John Rawls' theory of justice, right? Just read them once again. Otherwise, it is very difficult to prepare about each and every one. But know about some reformers who has contributed for substantiations of our answers. I have shown that what are the people or who are the thinkers that you have to think, right? That is one type of question. There are two types of questions which are asked in this. That too, there are two types of questions. The first question is they ask about the personalities, but if you look at the previous year questions, the number of questions that are asked on the personalities directly is very, very negligible. So at max, 5% out of 100% in these two is given to this. So you don't spend your time on this 5%. At max, they will ask one question, that too for a 10 marker, and that will be a common theme for everyone. So don't spend that time. So I don't think that it is a wise thing to spend much of your time on going and researching about each and every thinker. No, don't do that. Rather, the second type of questions that they are asking from these sections are, they give a statement of a person and they ask you, what does that statement mean to you? Look at the questions. What does that statement mean to you? So there are only two questions. One is either they give the personality, or they will ask you, what does that statement of that personality mean to you? I already discussed how to answer this question. If you go back, I said that whenever they are giving about a personality, right, about a statement of a personality, then how to think or how to answer that. I said you have to answer the statement of a thinker. What I am saying is, in these two chapters, in these two topics, that is called role of thinkers, philosophers from India and the world, and contributions of moral thinkers. From these two topics, there will be only two types of questions that UPSC is asking. One is directly about the thinkers. Other one is, what do you mean by the statement which is said by the thinkers, right? In that also, majority of the questions, 95% of the questions are asked on the statements, except one or two times. In one time, they asked about John Rawls' theory of justice. Again, people who are not from political science, most of the people don't write it. So you cannot just sit and judge whether they are going to ask about John Rawls' theory of justice or Aristotle's theory of Plato or Aristotle's theory of state or Plato's theory of state. No, you cannot sit and judge because it is taking a lot of time. So don't do that exercise. If you want to do that exercise, do only for these persons which were asked previously, right? There will be 7 to 8 persons. Just go and know about them. But in general, know about some thinkers, know about some administrators. I said why you have to know about them, not for writing answer here, but for substantiating of your answers. So that is the first thing that I wanted to say. The second thing is, there is some statement based questions. What does this statement to you? An unexamined life is unworth living, Socrates said. What does that statement mean to you? I said this, whenever you are writing answers for these type of questions, you should not say that Socrates said this or Socrates said that. For example, I was discussing a question of APJ Abdul Kalam. If you do remember, what does this statement mean to you? Right? There is no decision that is black and white. Decisions cannot be either good or bad. You have to weight them, right? And that day I said how to answer these type of statements. I said that you think again in a broader perspective while you are answering this question. What they will definitely ask you, what does this statement to you? And they give 3 statements for 30. Each question carries 10, 10, 10 marks. And this is, I said, this is one area which they are giving us the opportunity to create or to show our creativeness or to show our intellect on the paper. What does this statement mean to you? They are asking directly, what does it mean to you? So this is one flexibility, this is one space where you can create yourself. And how to create answers for these? I said answers for these can be created by following one approach. What is that approach? You have to think how the statement is, what does that statement mean to you in your personal life. Personal life means in your character building or in your personality building. First thing is, what does that statement to you in your character building? The second thing is, what does that statement to you, what does that statement mean to you in your private life? What is private life? In your family, in your friends, right? In your relatives, private life. Third thing is, what does that statement to you mean to you in your social relationships? Fourth thing, what does that statement mean to you in your public life? Fifth, social relationships or public life, okay? Fourth thing is, what does that statement mean to you in your professional life? If you are thinking on 4 lines, then you can write a beautiful answer for these type of questions. What I said, how to answer these questions. The first thing is, what does that statement to you mean to you personally for building the character of or how it is going to build your personality. The second one is how it is going to help you, or what does that statement mean to you in your private life. Private life means you and your family and your friends. How it is going to help you, or what does that statement mean to you in public life or social life. That is the third thing. The fourth thing